I have a question. And I want you to be brutally honest with me. We're checking in with each other, okay? Uh, in terms of the importance of the piece of paper that you've accomplished, you've acquired, and it's called a degree. I have a question. How important do you think it is? How? On a scale of 1 to 10, how important do you think it is? Professional experience is always more valuable than that piece of paper they call a degree. Let's check in. Like diamonds, I'm watching how you glow. What's up, everybody? It's your boy AJ here, coming through your TV screen, your phone screen, your laptop screen, and beyond. Hi, how you doing, mate? Yeah, I might offend some people by saying that, but hear me out. I'm going to reference my sister in this video. My sister is an accountant, graduated from from a very good college in New Jersey. She's working a good job, making good money. I had a conversation with my sister a little while back when I asked her was going through all of that hell to accomplish that degree, was it worth it? She obviously said yes, but the trick to the conversation was this: half of what you learn in college doesn't actually get applied in the real world. In a sense, they teach you certain things based on a what if situation. So you have the knowledge in case this happens. Chances are it's not actually gonna happen. You're not gonna actually need that knowledge. It's good to have it. There might be the situation of what if that happens. You're gonna have to need that. You're gonna have to have that knowledge on hand. Hence why a lot of college courses render you 4 years, because there's a lot of what ifs that go into learning a course. And that's pretty much why you go to college. It's a prevention is better than cure kind of concept. So it prevents you from being in the situation of not knowing anything about a situation. Teaches you that to be prepared for anything. But the thing and the irony about actually going to college and acquiring a degree, which is an amazing thing if you've done that. Anybody watching this, if you've accomplished that, toodles to you. Me, I'm happy for you. What I'm saying parallel to that is that a lot of what you get taught, there is no situation for it to be applied. Try to make sense of what I'm making here. A lot of times when you actually get out there in the field, what you get taught is not needed. Your experience is built on a fresh platform, totally isolated from everything that was taught to you. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a situation where what you've learned a lot of times gets applied. There is a situation where what you've learned will need to be applied. But a lot of times what you've been taught in college, has absolutely nothing to do with what you're going to face in the real world. But like I said, what if? You have to be prepared for that what if. What I'm saying to you now in this conversation is this: even though you have all of that knowledge, the knowledge you gain in the field is more important than the knowledge you've gained for that piece of paper. Not that the knowledge that you've acquired getting that degree is not important. It is. I'm just saying, if you're prioritizing importance here, what you're learning in the field is more important than what you've been taught in school. Because a lot of times, what you've been taught in school is not one for one. When I say one for one, I mean is not exact. So what you get taught in a classroom is not actually 100% going to be what is reality. Try to grasp where I'm going here. It's not to tell you, right, your degree is worthless or nothing. That's not the case. I'm just saying, a lot of times when you get taught doing that degree, what you get taught, there is no scenario needed for you. There is no scenario that needs you to apply that knowledge. And it's a weird thing. It can be a little bit redundant sometimes too, because it won't make sense to you. Sometimes people will be like, why did I go through all of that when I have the job and nothing I've been taught I need to apply has nothing to do with what I'm doing in the real world. College can be tricky sometimes. What I'm saying is, when you get out there in the field, it's almost like you're starting anew. And when you do that, when you get that fresh start, don't depend on what you've learned to get your degree. Have it. Let it be there. Refresh yourself every now and then. What I'm saying to you is don't completely 100% depend on that knowledge, because what you're going to see in the real world is nothing like what you've been taught. The variables, totally different. My sister let me know that. and I'm passing that knowledge on to you. So what you've been taught in college is a good thing. The knowledge is important to have. It's good to have. But don't walk out in the real world and expect that knowledge is going to be one for one, word for word, act for act, scenario for scenario, what the real world is going to be. It's not. The real world is going to throw you something totally different that you've never been taught. But here's a trick to that also. What you've learned in college teaches you how to think on your feet when you get into the real world. You see where it balances out though? But what I'm saying is, in the field, in that moment, what you've learned in college is not the most important knowledge. What you're seeing in the field, what you've learned in the field is more important. Prioritize learning new things in the field rather than relying on what you've been taught in college. And also because there are so many different moving parts, variables, the scenario, the situation is not always the same all the time. Things are evolving. The knowledge you've gained in college is never going to change. That knowledge is what that knowledge is. So when you start to weigh the pros and cons of what you've been taught in school and what you're being taught in the real world experience is more important. It's always going to trump what you've learned in school. Again, what you have learned in school is actually good knowledge to have. You're being taught about what ifs, which is never a bad thing. But when you get into the real world, it's no longer a what if, but what is. And you're gonna need to be much more prepared. So, with that being said, it's your boy AJ. My sister just gave me a very good idea for this episode, and I toodles to her. It's your boy AJ. I'm signing out.